And we're live. Good evening, everybody. This is Gandalf the Grey. What are y'all up to? How's it going? What you doing? How you doing? Anyway, I don't want to get more ridiculous with this. But anyway, hang tight here. I got a call coming in. Hang on. Just getting started and everything. Hey, hon. With? Okay. That's like really not helpful. I do not remember about infidelity. Okay, I don't remember. I can't remember who it is, hon. I, d- I know I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember. I literally can't remember. If I knew, I would tell you. You showed him to me, and I only heard a couple of his songs, and I didn't really listen to him after that. So no, I have no memory of what his name is. Doesn't always mean I remember names and who people are. You figure it out. You're the one who found him initially. I don't even know how to look him up, honey. I have no clue. Okay, I can't help you with that. I just got the kids to bed and I'm doing a live stream right now, and I can't help you with this. Alright. Love you too. Bye. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway. Alright. So yeah, I've got Bible Gateway up. I prefer to use a Blue Letter Bible for things, but there's a problem with that. It's not as user friendly with things when it comes to like just pulling a book up to read. It's better in the app than it is in the. It is much better in the app than it is online. I recommend the app, the Blue Letter Bible app. Does a lot to help with uh, looking at language, its meanings, and things of that nature. Because some words have numerous meanings, and it's it's helpful. And then there's commentaries and stuff, um, which are pretty nice, and many of them are very helpful. So anyway, um, so before we really get going, let's do a quick word of prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this evening. We thank you for giving us this time. Pray, God, that we will learn much and that you will be glorified and made known through this evening and what we talk about. I pray that we will seek to follow you and understand more of you through what we read and talk about tonight. In your name, Lord Jesus, we pray. Amen. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So tonight, I want to talk about the story of Samson. I thought this was kind of a neat um, story to go over. And a friend of mine, he was actually having to give a sermon on the story of Samson, and had came up with kind of what he was going to do um, for that sermon. It was pretty cool. Um, I actually didn't get to listen to what his sermon was all the way through about, but I thought there's some interesting um, bits of things that we can take away from this. Okay. So anyway, so there's some interesting. So let's go ahead and start reading it, and then we'll get into some of the stuff associated with it. So it's in Judges 13, the birth of Samson. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, so the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years. There was only a very short window of time in history where the Israelites actually were really in control of their land and didn't really have many problems. It was only a certain number of years. It wasn't like gobs. It was pretty sad, unfortunately. And it was even in those times where they actually had control. It was plagued a lot with. They did a lot of bad stuff and didn't follow God, and then they did at times, and then they didn't, and then they did, and then they didn't, and then they really didn't, and then they messed up, and then God sent them into exile. So that happened a lot, like a lot. So let's get back into it. A certain man of Zorah named Manoah from the clan of Dantis had a wife who was childless, unable to give birth. The angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink, and that you do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant and have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will be led in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines." God always provides redemption. That's one of the things that you're seeing in this passage right here. There's an interesting little bit in here. There's so many different stories in the Bible where it was a woman who couldn't have a kid. It was always one of those stories. There's always one of those stories in the Bible. There's gobs of them. So there's one here in Judges. Then there's Abraham and Sarah. And then there's this one here in 1 Samuel chapter 1. I won't get into some of this stuff, but I'll just say, so there was a guy who he had two wives. What was his name? A certain man whose name was Elkanah, who had two wives, and one of them was Hannah, and the other one was Peninnah, Peninnah, and Peninnah had children, and Hannah had none. And year after year, this man went up to the town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord Almighty in Shiloh, and so on and so forth. And needless to say, Hannah asked for a son and prayed for a child, and Hannah had a son. And she prayed that God would give her a son. And the first child that she had, if it was a boy, because she prayed for a boy, and all, and if it was a son, she would give him back to the Lord. And so he became the prophet Samuel. And he anointed kings, and he was a pretty cool dude. he was a prophet of God. So lots of stories of God bringing his redemption by through a woman to bring forth a man to be raised up to bring salvation and to bring redemption to his people. And it's very interesting that way. Let's see. Yeah, it's right at birth. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Then the woman went to her husband and told him, "A man of God came to me." Interesting that it's noted that it is an angel. An angel of the Lord appeared before her and said, but she said, "A man of God came to me." He looked like an angel of God. Very awesome. She wasn't quite sure based on what you're seeing there. I didn't ask him where he came from. Interesting. And he didn't tell me his name, but he said, "You will become pregnant and have a son. Now then, drink no wine or other fermented drink, and do not eat anything unclean, because the boy will be a Nazarite of God from the womb until the day of his death." Hang on. Sorry about that. My kid was not as asleep as I thought. Anyway, Manoah prayed to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I beg you, let the man of God you sent to us come again and teach us how to bring up the boy whom is to be born." God heard Manoah, and the angel of God came again, and the woman while she was out in the field, but her husband Manoah was not with her. The woman hurried to tell her husband, "He's here. The man appeared to me the other day." Manoah got up and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he said, "Are you the man who talked to my wife?" "I am," he said. I'd like to find. Let's see if I can't get this through Blue Letter Bible. See if I can't find it. Let's do ESV. Let's do NIV. Judges. Let's go back. Judges 13. Okay. Which one was it? It was 13:11. Let's quick jump over to 11. Let's see here. Let's listen to what it sounds like.
Strong's H589.
Ani. So, I, me, which, for I, mine. These are King James, which I don't much care for the King James version. There are people who will swear by the King James Bible and say it is the only correct one, and it has so many poor translations of words and things, and they say, well, it's the right one. It's like, well, no, there is no perfect exact right translation. Personally, I like the NIV is pretty good. It's got its issues, but it's pretty good. The King James is just hard to read. It's just hard to read, and people are like, well, this is the only one that you should ever have. Like, no, you don't have to have only that one. It's not perfect, exact, whatever. It's a fine translation if you really want it, but it has some poorly translated words, and it omits some things because it was very it did not suit King James real well. Needless to say. Anyway, I was interested and kind of curious on this word ani, because I was wondering if it was more like the Yod He Vav He, but it's not. It really isn't, which that's not terribly surprising. But anyway, so Manoah asked him, when your words are fulfilled, what is to be the rule that governs the boy's life and work? The angel of the Lord answered, your wife must do all that I have told her. She must not eat anything that comes from the grapevines, nor drink any wine or other fermented drink, nor eat anything unclean. She must do everything I have commanded her. Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, we would like you to stay while we prepare a young goat for you. The angel of the Lord replied, even though you detain me, I will not eat of your food. But if you prepare a burnt offering, offer it to the Lord. Manoah did not realize that it was the angel of the Lord. Manoah, and that seems to be pretty evident in the way it's been written. The fact that his wife was like, yeah, I have no idea. He's a man of God. He might be an angel. He looks kind of like an angel of the Lord. And which I would be interested to see. Sorry. Kind of what that would look like and what that would mean to them more specifically. But whatever. All right. Let's see. Number 17. When Manoah inquired the angel of the Lord, what is your name, so that we may honor you when your word comes true? He replied, why do you ask my name? It is beyond understanding. Then Manoah took a young goat together with the grain offering. I'm a little tired. And sacrificed it on a rock to the Lord. And the Lord did an amazing thing while Manoah and his wife watched. As the flame blazed up from the altar toward heaven, the angel ascended in the flame. Seeing this, Manoah and his wife fell with their faces to the ground. When the angel of the Lord did not show himself again to Manoah and his wife, Manoah realized that it was an angel of the Lord. So that it helps clarify that part, but it's very interesting that it does not. It's like he didn't really know, but whatever. We are doomed to die, he said to his wife. We have seen God. Which, no. You've seen an angel, but you've not seen God. But his wife answered, if the Lord had meant to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and grain offering from our hands, nor shown us all these things, or told or now told us this. The woman gave birth to a boy, named his name and named ugh, and named him Samson. So let's go ahead and let's go down here and named. Where is it? And named him Samson. Verse 24. Let's go ahead and check out Samson. Shimshon. Shimshone, I think. Shimshon. Okay. Like the sun is what it means. So Samson means like the sun. Shimshon sounds similar to that. Celebrated for his great strength. Sunlight, an Israelite. Samson. So, interesting. Let's see. Oh, this one has 25? Oh, this one. I just didn't get its own line. He grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him while he was in Mahana Dan, between Zor and Eshtaol. So, I think it's just, yeah, it's a three chapter story. So, I won't try to. I think one of the most interesting things to note about the story is the fact that Samson, his mom and dad saw the angel of the Lord go up in the fire of the burnt offering. That is very interesting. I thought that was one of the various things in the story that was really neat to note. That specifically that happened. That he ascended in the flames. That's interesting in my book. I find that very interesting and very unique. I think that's one of the only times that ever happened. Or maybe it was the only time that it ever happened, but I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. Anywho, 14. Samson went down to Timnah and saw there a young Philistine woman. So Samson's now an adult. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. His father replied, Isn't there an acceptable woman among your relatives or among all our people? Must you go with the uncircumcised Philistine to get a wife? So the Israelites and the Philistines didn't get along, if you couldn't tell. But he specifically wanted this Philistine woman. I don't know, maybe she was really good looking. Maybe she was, just very attractive. I beats me. But Samson said to his father, which I think there's more obviously going on, but I think there's more going on in this text than we realize. But Samson said to his father, Get her for me. She's the right one for me. Note, I named my live stream Samson is not bright for a reason. He's not. He seems to be just kind of a meathead, and he just says, that mine kind of thing. His parents did not know that this was from the Lord. That is very interesting that they note that is the case. Who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines, for at that time they were ruling over Israel. Samson went down to Timnah together with his father and mother. As they approached the vineyards of Timnah, suddenly a young lion came roaring toward him. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands, as he might have torn a young goat. So, in other words, he's done this kind of thing before, but this time it was a lion. But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. They didn't see it happen. Interesting, because it was just saying that they went down together. So something happened along the way. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and he liked her. Sure. There's more going on in that. In those 3 words, he liked her, than is being explicitly said. Sometime later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside and looked at the lion carcass, and in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped out the honey with his hand and ate it as he went along. When he rejoined his parents, he gave them some, and they too ate it. I'm just going to say this, that's nasty. Like, that's a carcass of a dying animal. And it's like, there's some bees making honey in this dead carcass of an animal I killed a few days ago, or a week or 2 ago, whatever. I'm going to eat that. Like, that's nasty. But he's not telling them that he had taken the honey from the lion carcass. Because he's like, they wouldn't eat this. Because that would very likely be considered super unclean, according to the Torah. Now his father went down to see the woman, and there Samson held a feast, as was customary for young men. When the people saw him, they chose 30 men to be his companions. "Let me tell you a riddle," Samson said to them. "If you can give me the answer within 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes." "Tell us your riddle," they said. "Let's hear it," he replied. Out of the eater something to eat, out of the strong something sweet." 4 days they could not answer him. On the 4th day, they said to Samson's wife, "Coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to steal our property?" Then Samson's wife threw herself on him, sobbing, "You hate me. My wife doesn't say that. She's never said that to me, ever. But, I can hear it. There are some people who have marriages where it's like the woman tries to emotionally manipulate the man, and sometimes it's, "You hate me." And he's looking at it like, what in the world did I do? What did I do to make it so that you think that I hate you? I'm sorry, what did I say? I just think that's funny. "You don't really love me. something else my wife has never said to me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer. I haven't explained it to my father or mother, he replied. So why should I explain it to you? In other words, people who I trust, that are my family, I haven't told them what it means. What difference does it make? I'm not telling you either. And in some ways, that was probably a smart thing for him to do, but he didn't realize that they were going to kill his wife. She cried the whole 7 days of the feast. So, on the 7th day, he finally told her because she continued to press him. She, in turn, explained the riddle to her people. Before the sun set the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson said to them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, you wouldn't have solved my riddle. Plowed with my heifer. If you had not made my wife's life difficult, you wouldn't have gotten my riddle, essentially. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 of their men, ripped them of everything, and gave their clothes to those who had explained the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home, and Samson's wife was given to one of his companions who had attended him at the feast. Okay. This is kind of messed up. So Samson was like, okay, I'm just going to kill your people, take their stuff, and then just give it to you because I don't have that kind of stuff. I don't have that kind of money. And I certainly don't have the skills to make this stuff. And yeah, so I'm just going to kill some people, some of your people, and then give you your stuff back. And then he decided to just like, forget you guys, I'm angry, and he just walked home to his parents' house. And so these people did the bad thing and said, here, you can have his wife. And they're like, cool, woman. And yeah. So that's not going to go over well. That's really not going to go over well. Just heads up. It is very interesting though that God was like, yeah, I want you to marry this Philistine woman. Even though there was like prohibitions on marrying people of different people groups. But granted, I don't know if the Philistines were one of them. It was just that Philistines were like really not cool. They were like really, 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 really not cool. And the Philistines took forever for Israel to deal with and get past. It took them forever because it took all the way through like David for them to get rid of them. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but you can always correct me on that in chat. So later on at the time, which I know somebody will, later on at the time of the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife. I don't know why they weren't living together, but whatever. He said, I am going to my wife's room, but her father would not let him go in. I was so sure you hated her, he said. I gave her to your companion. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead. Samson, this feels a little bit like Sodom and Gomorrah right here. It's like, here, take this other woman instead. It's not quite that, but it's got some similarities. Like the whole, here, take this one instead. This time I have a right to get even with the Philistines. I will really harm them. So he went out and caught 300 foxes and tied them tail to tail, in pairs. He then fastened a torch to every pair of tails, lit the torches, and let the foxes loose in the standing grain of the Philistines, burned up the stalks of grain together with the vineyards and the olive groves. He done burned it all down. I border on, yeah, let's burn it all down on a governmental level. Not everything, but pretty much everything. But he like Samson took that as a challenge for a literal thing right there. It's like, bet I will do that. When the Philistines asked who did this, they were told Samson, the Timnite's son-in-law, because his wife was given to his companions. So the Philistines went up and burned her and her father to death. Samson said to them, "Since you've acted like this, I swear that I won't stop until I get revenge on you." He attacked them viciously and slaughtered many of them. Then he went down and stayed in a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines went up and camped in Judah, spreading out near Lenich, Lenai, Lenai. The people of Judah asked, "Why have you come to fight us?" "We have come to take Samson prisoner," they answered, "to do to him as he did to us." Then 300 men of Judah went down to the cave on the rock of Etam and said to Samson, "Don't you realize that the Philistines are ruling over us? What have you done to us?" He answered, "I merely did to them what they did to me." They said to him, "We've come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines." Samson said, "I swear to me that you won't kill me yourselves." "Agreed," they answered. "We will only tie you up and hand you over to them. We will not kill you." So they bound him with 2 new ropes and led him up from the rock. As he approached Lanai, the Philistines came toward him, shouting. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. Finding a fresh jawbone of a donkey, he grabbed it and struck down 1,000 men. Then Samson said, "With the donkey's jawbone I have made donkeys of them. With the donkey's jawbone I have killed 1,000 men." He Man, you read this and he just reads like he's a meathead, which is funny. He's just a big muscle dude who's like, "I killed a bunch of people." That's just kind of how it sounds like he speaks. But he gives people riddles and he deceives people. So he's not 100% dumb, but he just does some dumb stuff from time to time. Anyway. Because he was very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord, "You have given your servant a great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised?" Then God opened up a hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. When Samson drank, his strength was returned, and he revived. So the spring was called En Hakor, which means colored spring. And it is still there in Lehi. Samson led Israel for 20 years in the days of the Philistines. 20 years in the days of the Philistines. So you've given your servant a great victory, but now I must I die of thirst and be given over to these people who haven't been circumcised? He's got a lot of nerve. But of course, we do this. We all do this. We're all like, God, you've done this great thing, but really, do you have to let me? Oh, you gotta let me be inconvenienced some. I'm thirsty, God. Give me hey, bro, God, be a bro and give me a water. Like, really? Dude, seriously. Don't be so arrogant. Oops, bumped button. Okay. I think this is yes, this is the last chapter. This is where it gets into the last part. One day Samson went to Gaza, which we know where that is today, where he saw a prostitute he met and who he went in to spend the night with her. So he really, 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 really liked her because she was very attractive, and he did things with her because that's what he decided to do. And the people of Gaza were told Samson is here, so they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night. At the city gate, they made no move during the night, saying, "At dawn, we'll kill him." But Samson lay there only until the middle of the night. Then he got up and took hold of the doors of the city gate, together with the 2 posts, and tore them loose, bar and all. He lifted them on his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, from what I remember, those pieces of gate were somewhere in the ballpark of half a ton each. With all said and done, it was at least, I think, half a ton to 1 ton each. And it was an absurdly high amount of weight. And he just lifted them and walked them. Like, he's all brawn. That's just insane. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Hey there, Delilah, this is your ex-boyfriend Samson. Tim Hawkins. Just go with it. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength, so we can overpower him and we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me up with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Then the rulers of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried. She tied him with them. With men hidden in the room, she called to him, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string snaps when it comes loose to a flame. So the secret of his strength was not discovered. Okay, let's be real. This is one of those moments where Samson is kind of dumb. He's kind of an idiot. because he should have known right then, in this moment, that she was trying to kill him, get him caught, get him killed, something. But you know what? The story goes on. Then Delilah said to Samson, "You have made a fool of me. You lied to me. Come, tell me how you can be tied." He said, "If anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any other man." So he does this again. He literally does this twice, expecting a different outcome. This is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Grr. This guy is not the brightest bulb in the box. So Delilah took new ropes and tied him with them. Then, with men hidden in the room, ready to get him, she called to him, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." But he snapped the ropes off his arms as if they were threads. Okay. You would have thought, okay, he should have learned on the second time, right? No. No, it goes on. Delilah then said to Samson, "All this time you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied." He replied, "If you weave the 7 braids of my head into the fabric of the loom and tighten it with the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man." So, while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head, wove them into fabric, and tightened it with the pin. Again she called, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke and from his sleep pulled up the pin of the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, "How can you say I love you?" Literally, okay. She kind of gaslights him a little bit, saying, "How can you say you love me?" And it's like, Samson, you need to leave this woman. You really need to leave this woman. This woman is trying to get you killed. Literally, she is trying to get you killed. And he goes, "Nope, I'm just going to keep telling her lies over and over and over again because she's pretty." That's how it comes across to me. That is how it comes across to me. I'm sorry if that's not exactly what's happening, but still. Like, bro. How can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. Maybe he doesn't trust you because you're trying to get him killed. But of course, he's also kind of an idiot for staying. So, whatever. With such nagging, she probed him day after day until he was sick to death of it. That means he was so irritated with her. So he told her everything. "No razor has ever been used on my head," he said. "Because I have been a Nazarite dedicated to God from my mother's womb, if my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." Then Delilah saw that he had told her everything. She sent word to the rulers of the Philistines, "Come back once more. He had told me everything." So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands. After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and so began to subdue him, and his strength left him. Then she cried, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke from his sleep and thought, "I'll go out as before and shake myself free." But he did not know the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza, binding him with bronze shackles. Gouged out his eyes, permanently blinded him. Binding him with bronze shackles, they set him to grinding grain in the prison. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. So the story of Samson actually took place over quite a few years, a very long number of years. Because even right here, they're noting that he had his hair cut, and then it started growing back. So he must have been in the prison for quite a while. Now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, to celebrate, saying, "Our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands." When the people saw him, they praised their God, saying, "Our God has delivered our enemy into our hands, the one our who laid waste our land and multiplied our our slain." While they were in high spirits, they shouted, "Bring Samson to entertain us." So they called Samson out of the prison, and he performed for them, whatever that means specifically. There's definitely some implications there that are not being explicitly stated, and I would bet if you actually went into enough historical search, you'd probably find out more specifically what that means. When they stood him among the pillars, Samson said to the servants who held his hands, "Put me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple, so that I may lean against them." Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there, and on the roof there was 3,000 men and women watching Samson perform. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me for just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Then Samson reached toward the 2 center pillars on which the temple stood. So these were load-bearing pillars. Bracing himself against them, his right hand on one and his left hand on the other, Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he killed many more when he died than when he lived. Then his brothers and his father's whole family went down to get him. They brought him back and buried him between Zor and Eshtal in the tomb of Manoah his father. He had led Israel for 20 years. So this story of Samson is in that 20-year period. I would imagine it was over a good number of those 20 years. Majority of this story, I think, was over those 20 years. Really only covering a few major points of his life. But one of the takeaways I think of this story that we need to realize is that, God uses us when we don't listen or don't do things right. But honestly, though, we really should be doing as he asks. We should be following through and doing the right thing. And doing as he has asked us to do. And that's really what we should be doing. We should not be going, there's grace. It's just grace. There's grace for everything that I do wrong. No, that is not the attitude. Our goal is to honor God and to worship him and do as he asks. Not just, I'm just going to do this thing because I just want to. I'm going to start prepping a game. Hopefully the game plays well for me. If it doesn't and I have to end the stream right off, then I'm sorry. But we are, as believers and followers of Christ, of Yeshua, we shouldn't be like Samson, having to beg God, being like, "God, be a bro and give me some water." I just killed a bunch of people, or I just did this big great thing. How dare you let me go thirsty? And you know, and then make poor decisions and be like, I'm going to go do this one thing over here, and I'm always going to get out of it because I've been blessed or given the skill or ability that God has blessed me with, or whatever, and I'm just going to get out of this. And then we do something dumb like tell somebody something that we really shouldn't tell them, and make poor friends and make poor choices in life, and not we shouldn't do what Samson did. We should not be that kind of follower. That is a terrible, terrible idea. God used him, yes, but how much more would God have used him had he listened in the first place and had actually done the right thing? How much more would God have actually moved in these situations and had more taken care of and handled had Samson been more faithful to God and followed him more closely in these areas of his life, in all areas of his life? He lusted after a whole bunch of different women who were part of a tribe, a people group that he should not have been doing that with. Let's be real here. Samson should have been following the Torah better, but nobody in Israel was doing a good job of that at the time because they were doing evil in the sight of the Lord. That's as stated in chapter 13. It serves as a really, really solid cautionary tale to us as believers and as followers of, and don't be disobedient and doing stupid stuff and assuming that God's just going to bail you out all the time, or what you know or what you do or your skills or the blessings God has given you are just going to bail you out all the time, because that is misusing his grace that he has given you. So don't be like Samson. Don't be an idiot. Don't think you're so smart as to trick everybody around you and tricking even the people who oppose you. Just follow and do the right thing. That's all. So that would be my cautionary tale to all of you, is just listen. Do as God has asked you to do. Follow him the way he has asked you to follow. Be his servant. And don't misuse his grace. Because at some point God's going to let you just suffer the consequences of your stupid actions. And maybe in the end, if you make those mistakes, maybe God will be merciful to you. But you know what? I would rather be following and doing as he asks and doing the right thing than to be not listening, doing the wrong thing, and then have to keep coming back to him and asking him for forgiveness. Because every single time that we fail and fall and that we don't listen and we're doing the wrong thing and that we disobey and we sin, we crucify our Messiah again and again and again, and we have to come back and repent, and we have to ask him for forgiveness again. And we shouldn't be living in sin. We shouldn't be doing that. Man, I have to repent and ask for forgiveness for stuff constantly because I mess up. Does that mean that I am any less justified through the grace that I have been given? No, but it does mean that I really should be getting my act together on those things. And there are times where it's like, yeah, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have done that. But I work on improving myself and trying to be better and to be a better follower, because honestly, I want to be able to to bear the Lord's name with all of the all of the all the best I can give with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. To live the Shema, to live out what He is called, to follow in the 10 sayings of God, because which is an interesting misnomer, as we say it's 10 commandments, like technically the 10 sayings of God. But neither here nor there on that specifically at the moment. But we really, I really want to live that, and I think that is something that everybody who is watching this live stream, that you can take from this, is don't be like Samson, abusing his grace. Yes, God used everything He did to help the Israelites, to help the Jews get through what they were going through, but it's not worth it to abuse what grace He gives. Don't play games with God, because God doesn't play games with you. Okay? Don't be like Samson and play this game with God and playing with other people and being like, haha, I'm smarter than you. I'm just going to outsmart you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Seriously. Don't do that. Just don't. Just do as He asked. Care for those around you. Love the Lord. Do as He says. If you love Him, you will live out. You will do what He says. If you love the Lord, you will do what He said in His Word. You will do that. Keep His commands. That's what it says. That is what the Word says. If you love Me, keep My commands. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to all of you who are Christians. That also means that there are a lot of things in the Torah, in the law, you really should be following. And there are certain spiritual truths that we need to be following. It's just the truth. Oh, we're gonna do the playing League in the Corner thing again tonight, huh? My computer does this from time to time. It's like, here, we're just gonna do this little box right here in the corner. It's a little awkward, but it still works. So, needless to say, don't play dumb games with God. Follow what He says. There are things, yes, I understand there's a lot of things in the law that really don't apply to us. There's a lot. I mean, I'm not a priest, so anything associated with the priest, I don't have to follow that, because it doesn't apply to me. It has nothing to do with me. Sin sacrifices, we don't have to worry about those anymore. We don't have to worry about making sacrifices for sin, because that is who Jesus is. He is our Passover lamb. He is our sacrifice for our sins. But that doesn't give us a way to escape. It's not a free ride. It's not fire insurance. It's not just fire insurance. It comes with a price. It requires all of who we are. It requires everything that we are. It requires our heart, our soul, our mind, our strength. And Jesus tells us, you need to be You need to be doing more than just following the scripture and following the commands of God in your action. You need to be doing it in your heart too. And a lot of times I think Christians miss the physical action that goes with it sometimes too. But I guess there's a good case to make saying, well, if I'm following it in my heart, then my actions should be following, because it's not that what goes into a man that makes him unclean, but what comes out of him that makes him unclean. So there is something to be said about that. Seriously, there is something to be said about that. So, yeah. So that's my rant for the evening. I need to fix this volume here. It's loud. It's probably much louder for everybody else. So, drinking some water. Oh my. What is that? World Atlas. That's what they call that thing? Heh. Didn't realize they call it the World Atlas. Good luck, have fun. No. I do what I want. This pantheon has a Chinese character name. If you know what it means, please put it in the comment section so I can know. Oh, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Please, 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 please. Please do that. It is so helpful. It is so incredibly helpful that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Oh boy. Hey Specs, what's cooking? That is an interaction I did not realize was a thing. Ow. Draven hurts a lot. He's a big meanie. His early game damage is just absurd. If you put him behind early, he's kind of worthless later the game goes. Hey, first blood. Was not expecting a pike mid, just saying. I'm getting I've played top lane a whole bunch recently, and I'm really getting tired of playing top lane. Just because I don't know why, but I just can't get a gank to save my life. I just, for whatever reason, cannot get a gank to save my life. Hey, Pantheon, are you gonna show up and help? I've been getting a little tilted from... Oh. Actually, you know what? No, let's just get the AD. Alright, what I need to do is get plated steel caps. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this. Apparently Dante's, whatever it is, he's been playing AD carry, and he's doing like this weird build for AD carry, basically prioritizing defensive stats. Like, he still has damage and attack speed and all, and so there's crit in there, but he's prioritizing survivability in fights over excess damage, which actually makes some good sense when you think about it. Because if you can survive longer, if you take like a 5-10% damage reduction in damage, but you survive 70% longer, your damage output from that amount of time extra being alive evens out. So it actually is mathematically pretty ingenious and pretty smart. No, just auto attack it, please. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, look at that. Renekton got reneked a ton. Lame joke. I know, it's such a lame joke. I've been getting into a whole bunch of dad jokes recently. I'm realizing how much of a dad I really am because I like dad jokes so much. Ooh. Gross. My support is level 4. I got him. Alright. Alright. Plated steel caps is going to severely, well, not severely, but seriously improve my survivability. It will definitely help with that. And that's, I think that's like a big part of this build idea, is that everything is built around the idea of being the Bee Gees, staying alive. Sweet. Feed me. Feed me, Draven. Feed me more Draven. might need it back. Get my boots, and then return to lane. If I get some armor, it'll be... If I get plated steel caps, it actually will make a big difference. Reduces incoming damage from attacks by 10%. Plus the amount of armor. Plus the 25 armor that it gives. Helps to nullify some of that serrated dirk. I mean, it doesn't really fix the bigger issue here, which is the pinky and the brain right here. Pinky the brain. What is my range? 603. My range increases over time. Alright, let's take down this tower. I don't know where they are. They're mid. Just saying, if you do not take the rune demolish with Tristana, I don't know what you're doing. Anyone tell you you're ever a little... Has anyone ever told you you're a little clingy? A moo the sad mummy. I'm a little... Last one is on latrine duty. I don't have quite enough for the item. Oh, that actually reduced quite a bit of his damage. Actually reduced quite a bit. Ah, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I guess newsflash is I wasn't. Oh, I'm not sure what that Warwick was thinking. Because, oof. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of stuns. Excuse me. How much? 750. Yeah, I ain't got that. Ooh, this Silas, man. He's running this game. Whew. 5, 2, and 4. Yeah, he is running this game. I am 2, 3, and 1. I have a even KDA this game, which is not the best. Which is not really that good, but you know. Let's clear this wave. I need to get this wave out of here. Come on. Come on. See, how much can I get? Can I get this turret? Yes, I can. Got it right as the objectives were falling. As the turret plate, or was it like right after the turret plate fell? But it was in just enough time. Okay. Fighter. This one. Yep. Give me the extra health. The extra health helps with demolish. It really, really helps with demolish. Wait, who said that? I'm guessing that was Cassante? I've never heard that before. Legit. Nice. Hmm. Whoa. I didn't realize that would apply while I was in the air. Oof, my Warwick is not doing so hot. Oh. Thanks. Take my kill. Ah. Alright, let's go ahead and back. Get Tunneler. Very interesting item, but whatever. Sure, go ahead and get the Rift Herald. Warwick has... Oh, he purchased Blade of the Rune King first. That's the problem. What? I don't understand this. Now I'm getting harder to kill. He doesn't do quite as much damage to me now. Yeah, this Draven is doing less damage. I'm not doing huge crits, but doesn't matter that much to me. Nope. Ah, that landed. That's no good. Hey, there we go, Warwick. Come on. It's a party in the mid lane. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a party in... It's an ARAM in the mid lane. Which, that's a little repetitive, but, you know. It's a little redundant, but, you know. Oh. Come on. There we go. Huh? What? I know it's Cassante saying it, but... Really? Okay. Yes, I use my spacebar to help center my camera over my champion. That is something that I do. Oh, always get the flowers, people. Always, always, always collect the flowers. The demolitionist. Sup, Warwick? Well, he's dead. You know? I don't know how they scurry like baby armadillos. I've never seen baby armadillos scurry. I mean, I've seen them dead on the side of the road before. I've driven across this country a few times, so I'm dying a whole bunch. Partly because I don't have Blade of the Rune King. I am not buying items that are conducive to self-healing. We'll say that. Nice. Good job, guys. I'm just over here taking turrets. Sometimes. Sometimes. I don't know why I just pressed like 3 straight buttons. Other than I'm just bad at this game. I'm gonna, come hang out over here. Where Mr. Casante is. I forget I have heal. Might need to use that. Like, it's not likely that it would have really helped Silas that much, but you know. Okay. Okay. They're gonna go ahead and shift to another lane. And I'm just gonna come back and hang out. And be like, yo, what's up? Dude. That was amazing. That is what I want from every single person who ever plays Silas in my games, on my team anyway. At least those who play on my team. Cool. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get the Amumu. I just stand still and just press button. Just click. Just press auto attack. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to... Yeah, I'll just back. I'm just going to go ahead and back. Yeah, there's no way. Do I want to go with that? Maybe... Yeah, let's maybe go Blade of the Rune King. I don't think I'm going to have time to finish, but... I have a lot of attack speed. 1.86 autos per second. That's a good amount of attack speed. Hard to say. I've got almost 3,000 HP, which that's actually really, really solid. It's way more than any normal AD carry would ever have. Like, my survivability is so much higher. This is really odd. Goodbye. What? Okay, fine. Fine, I'll kill you. So that's how you want to go. Okay, we can do that. I mean, I don't have lifesteal yet, but I have Ocean Soul. Ooh, I just died. I need lifesteal. Really, really bad. I really need lifesteal. Gosh, Cassante just does so much damage. It's just sneaky how much damage he actually does. And he has so much self-heal too, which is just absurd. As soon as this game's done, I'm calling it a night. It was good doing this. It's been a little while. Oh, come on. There we go. Sweet. I didn't make it all the way. Well, anyway. Alright, I'm going to call it for a night. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you and give you peace. Shalom.